my God. Isn't that the most recognizable theme in the
What
world?
is it?
It's the, oh my God, oh, Franklin's laughing. What, what, what? Are you serious? Are you really, never mind. Franklin, are you
Yes.
there?
What is it?
I heard it from your mom, Trebek.
I heard it from your mom, Trebek. Yeah. So it's the theme to Jeopardy, right?
I guess. I don't know.
But it's actually I'm a Little Teapot. They stole it from I'm a Little Teapot. Think about it.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah,
Back
if
in
you
the day.
listen to it, that's what it is. It's I'm a Little Teapot.
I
Short
think-
and stout.
I think I saw that back. There was a cartoon in the 40s called Sniffles, and I'm not from the 40s, but Sniffles was this little weasel kind of squirrel in one of it wasn't Hanna-Barbera. It was even before that. It was like, wow. And I think that's where I heard it. God, it's that glutathione, guys. I can remember back in time, but it doesn't do much for my ruminating, so I'm still depressed. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to the viewers over at the Rockfin. Glad to see you.
Yeah, give them the great news about Rockfin there, Chanda.
We have overcome 400. Yay. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, let's see if we can hit 500 by next spring. I think that I want to qualify that. See, we didn't have a lot of people to bring over because we kind of started when we went to Rockfin. So these are people that are picking us up. You know, they're not people who've been around for a while. So we didn't bring over masses of people like Jimmy Dore and Fee and Pasta and everybody else. So this is really great. They're picking up our stuff over and say, hey, you know, these guys aren't so full of shit. So
Hey, we might not have a lot of peeps, but our peeps are solid and we love them.
Yes, we do. We will be here for our peeps all the time as long as I don't lose my marbles. Franklin, how are you this morning?
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar, wunderbar. You speak German. You should come on No Joke with everybody on Saturdays.
Oh, I pretend that I speak German. Ich bin ein Berliner.
Warum bist du so weit? And I just said, why do you look so
admit it.
chubby? Shit, that's me. Good morning, Cheese Man. Serious 1976. Hey, there's Freya King. You know Freya King there, Franklin?
I pretend not to.
Hey, guys. I'm back. Good morning, Freya. When are you going to do a show, Freya? Freya, we need
Amber and I told her that she needs to do a kid show.
I wish you
Yeah,
would.
she does.
That'd be great. Love to do a
Those
kid
are the
show.
most popular on YouTube.
Oh, shit. She'll probably do it a lot better than I do it. So, yeah. Jilly. Hi, Jilly. Jilly, just for you. Amos has got a show coming up tomorrow night. is it
Dedicated to Joey.
Jilly. Sorry, Jilly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Amos is going to be on with the Progressive Report, I think. They did catch that. Microdosing cures depression. We were just talking about that, I guess.
Well, supposedly.
Yes, it does, supposedly.
Yeah.
And I could believe why it would, taking as much acid as I have over the years.
Oh my God, Jesus! I don't know. It's just.
Oh my God, she said that.
They should sprinkle it on cornflakes. We're not advocating.
Maybe they do.
Yeah, we're not advocating drug use beyond the glyphosate and everything everything that Monsanto uses. We want to make sure we're highly toxified and poisoned to death. Behind us, we have something that people don't talk about enough, and we're not going to beat the hell out of it, but we're just going to state it as fact. Julian Assange. Julian Assange is going to be, I'd say in some circles as far as journalism go, being nailed to the cross. And everybody's hovering around just watching them get away with it in mainstream media. So not that I'm already ashamed of our mainstream media, but they should be ashamed of themselves. They are worthless tools of the oligarch, and they can all go straight to hell. And that includes Rachel Maddow and especially Rachel Maddow, MSNBS and Fox. All those turds at Fox and MSNBS and the New York Times. And we've got a little feature on the Washington Post today that's going to be
Oh, yippee.
just, because I run a lot of Washington Post stuff, but when I run this stuff, doesn't mean that they're God or they're right all the time. We just want to put it out there what they're talking about. So I still say that New York Slimes is probably the worst of the last paper syndicates out there. So yeah,
I don't know. I think the Post runs a close freaking neck and neck with them.
Isn't that where Woodward and Bernstein came
Oh,
out.
you know it. You know it.
Okay, so yeah, we have no credible efficacy in journalism anymore, and prime example is behind us on the screen. Julian Assange. They should be screaming bloody murder.
Yes, they should.
The guy is he's going to end up being our martyr. Is what he is if he isn't
Yep.
already. Along with
He already is. He
Yeah,
already is.
yeah.
Hey, shout out to Keith on the phone at the tire shop getting the leak fixed to get some of that free popcorn.
God, yeah. Don't put your hand in that popcorn bag there.
Right.
Good God, yeah. I went out yesterday and I had my hazmat suit on. Going to the dentist. I lived so far. Thanks everybody for.
Well, it takes 14 days. You don't know if you're in the clear yet.
Thank you very much. You comfort me so much with
I
this.
just
COVID.
grounding you, man. Just grounding.
Well, here's the thing too: the timing was not very good considering we're having such a spike because everybody went out on Labor Day.
Yeah.
And party
Guilty.
hardy, they had to get out there and social, not distance themselves. And those of you who did wear a mask, all well and good. But man, we're having hot
Wears a
spots.
mask at the beach.
Hot spots in Washington State, New York City is they were screaming about New York City, California. So yeah, go out and just hey, everything's back to normal. Not so much. Let's just kill some more people. I read somewhere where what was it? A 12-year-old girl passed away, but they're going to say
horrible.
she had a pre-existing condition. We all have pre-existing conditions. It's called being born. Give me a break, So,
It's especially true for me.
yeah. So be smart, just at least do the masks. So, anyway, I want to dedicate today's show to freeing Julian Assange. We need to get him out of there, get some help. So whatever you can do to help, please do.
Please support Julian.
Yeah. So
Now they're going to start a dangerous precedent.
yeah, they've already started it with the police.
How can they extradite him to America? He's not a fucking American.
Yeah, I don't. They just want to make an example of him, and I'm going to thank President Obama, and I'm going to call him Obama for a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
He disgusts me, and if anybody wants me to debate Obama, please feel free to come on. We won't make fun of you. We'll just have the debate, and again, don't compare Obama with but Trump. We know how bad Trump is. We know how bad Biden is. So there we go. What do we got here this morning? This is, okay. All right. Plain old Johnny Graz. Let's see. Who put this? I put this in. God, I should
You
remember.
put that there.
We include everyone from the right to the far right, big tent. Okay, so yeah, Johnny Graz, Alex Thompson posted, Biden transition adds Cindy McCain to the advisory board. Diversity of ideology and background is a core value of the transition, and today's announcement is another step demonstrating the importance of unifying the country under a Biden-Harris administration. They say in the release. Did you hear about this? I mean, really? You want to diversify ideology by putting the brat of a warmongering pig on your transition team? Who does that appeal to? What do you
Well,
think?
Cindy's actually his wife.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The daughter.
I'm
But
sorry.
yeah, what does this tell you about the view? They're all voting for the same presidential candidate, which means they only have one fucking view, and it's the corporate view.
Yeah.
Right. The closer you get to the grassroots, I mean, our Republican brothers and sisters, I mean, most of them want Medicare for all. They want a really strong economy. We're not really disagreeing on a whole lot.
Yeah.
Just how to get there.
That's been said too by some of the Republican pundits. We want we're
Yes.
in favor, yeah. So they're co-opting any progressive populist message. I got to get off of progressive.
Even on the right, they are. Can I tell you, I watched an interview, the debate between Mariana Everson and Clint Bryson the other day. And he's sitting there saying how he supports a Green New Deal and he supports Medicare for all, but in different versions of what it is now, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he had so many left talking points. I asked Oz, is she running against a Democrat or a Republican?
No, let me correct you on that because we're watching out for each other. That was Walsh, not Bryson. Bryson was the Democrat running against Mariana in the primaries.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, but no, that's correct. Exactly correct. He was like, we're not that far. Bullshit. This guy is another corporate scuzzbag Republican. Jim Walsh, I think is his full name. Jim Walsh. Mariana Everson. So vote for the damn nurse. The nurse that wants Medicare for all. The nurse that supports whole Washington. I mean, it's a no-brainer out there, people. We have candidates running, populist progressives that are running against incumbent tools like Rick Larson, who is a scumbag, Adam Smith, Susan Delbeni. I mean, they're all pushing these rat bastard corporate tools who help put in the Trump's judges, who vote for his military budget. And we have a nurse that's raising a family that's out there who's had it up to her eyeballs. And she's trying to do something about it. Let's get behind the people that are working for us.
Those are the voices we need.
Yeah.
Those are the voices I want in there, not some privileged elite, lived in gated community, doesn't even live in the fucking state.
Yeah.
You know,
Washington,
the everyday people.
Washington State, we have, and I know we're international here, but if you can help, Georgia Davenport, Washington State, and the East. What district is she in? Do you guys know? It's Spokane.
30.
Yeah.
30.
Was it 37th?
Yeah.
Yeah. I interviewed her. I can't remember that.
Georgia Davenport and Mariana Everson are powerhouse women. They will kick ass. Let's get them in there and try and straighten out this liberal, libtard, whatever you want to call them, shit show that we have in Washington State, because we're supposed to be the progressive state. Well, we've got scumbag corporate Democrat tools who are center right. Let's just push them all the way over. They're just with the corporations. So again, I'm
Sure.
all for it. That's where we are. I got off. Sorry, I'm my soapbox. I fell.
Yeah, we're soapboxing
We're
today.
soapboxing. What is this?
Oh, okay. So this was a Facebook post I found yesterday. See how it's got the little eyeball on it, which means I had to uncover it. So Facebook is blocking this. They don't want you to see this. And all it basically says is, do you know what the NDAA is? And on December 31st of 2011, Barack Obama signed the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. This allows the president to detain anyone he wants for any reason he wants without can't see that word, it's blurry, without a lawyer, without anything, without due process anywhere in the freaking world,
Without trial.
And so we were talking about Julian Assange, and thanks Obama again.
He repealed habeas corpus.
Habeas
Habeas corpus.
Huge. Show me the body. Show me the body.
But why
Habeas
does
corpus.
Facebook have this covered is my point.
Because
it's a fact. It's the truth. So what the fuck? Why is it covered by one of their little black screens that you got to click the eyeball on?
Yeah.
Because they don't want the truth out.
No, they don't.
We'll get to this a little bit. Some of this problem a little bit later with one of my.
Yeah,
videos.
I think I'm going to touch on it a little bit. You know what? They just want to reduce us down to the little tin cans with the strings all across them. So that's the only way we can communicate anymore.
Yep.
That's what they're going to do. So, yeah. Barbara says, you
I'll be
guys
listening in on those.
You guys' windows are perfectly even. Oz, Chanda, and Franklin.
I know,
100%.
I can smack both of
Wow.
them. Oh
my God. Yeah. Just beat the hell out of us. That's the way to go. Yeah. I just, again, President Obama, he worked more, just like the rest of them, worked more for the corporations and the wealthy than anybody. What did he do when he got out of office? He went on vacation for 3 months with Richard Branson on his yacht and did some, spear fishing, whales or something. I don't know. But this is just sick. The guy can speak. He's a great con man. And we've got another con man that we're probably going to go off on after this segment. What's this?
Okay, so this is a report on the failing pork market in China. If you remember, right at the beginning of the pandemic last year, they had some kind of swine flu that was going through China. So they were literally torching acres and acres of pigs. But now it's really starting to take its toll. The shutdown, everything. We're going to start seeing major food shortages. And the new ride thing, that's a different clip, but it's
Starting
we're
out
all
here-
going to be riding horses.
Okay.
Overseas, China. The amount of
Zero
soybean
hedge.
purchases is at record highs, spurring global increases in soybean prices. But this is about pork. The strategic pork reserves in China are running out in mere months. We've seen the same thing in Australia, about to run out of rice in mere months. But when Chinese state media says the country's pork reserves are at dangerously low levels, that's a huge problem. They rarely come clean with massive food shortage news. And it appears that almost all the pork has already been used. But that would make sense because these once-in-a-400-year floods that have slammed China in the central, southern, and northern grow zones would obviously affect the poultry and swine production throughout the country, as well as the grains. China has a massive problem right now. Is there enough grain across the planet to feed it and satiate it? Is there enough meat across the planet to satiate China's demands? We're soon going to find out right here, rolling into harvest season beginning now. China had a small reprieve with the wholesale pork prices skyrocketing in the beginning of the year to all-time record highs. Pulled back on the green arrow, but once it does the next dip, it's back to the moon, straight north again. Can you imagine if China does not have pork, what the prices would be at that point? Think about that across the planet in any country you're in. If the food that you have as a main staple in your society dwindles to almost nothing, people will pay anything for it. There's going to be runaway food inflation. Now, the U.S. is not far behind because we have to go to 10-year lows in pork cold storage facilities, frozen pork in the U.S. You need to go back to 2011 to find the same amount of stored poundage. And this comes right down to it. If China's going to be offering massive money, these are business people that are holding these reserves. Do you think if somebody's going to offer you 5, 7, 10x the going rate on the market that you wouldn't sell it to that company or country? Of course they would. Look at the Irish potato famine. That wasn't about a lack of food. It was about the farmers that were controlled by the landholders were forced to export the food while the very people in the country starved.
Sound familiar?
So, Franklin, you're always talking about putting money into crypto. Fuck that. I'm putting my money into bacon.
I mean, diversification.
I'm taking my.
Right. I'm just going to be slinging it right out of the fridge.
I'm taking my money out of all the beef products, everything else, and I am pandering to our vegan brothers and sisters. I'm done. I mean, this is their new reality. Everybody needs. If we weren't, not we, but if they weren't trying to save the meat industry, do you know how many resources could go into the perfection of vegetable products? Do you know how much healthier our lives would be? We've been social conditioning to be butchers and animals eating other animals. And I know Brian's probably just getting wood over what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's going crazy.
Yeah.
And stop killing pigs, assholes.
Yeah.
Last night, I was chopping up a chicken. And I turned to Al and said, if more people were forced to chop up their own meat, they wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, if you had to kill it, you wouldn't eat it. So
exactly.
I mean, and I'm not begrudging you. My God, you guys, we have been social conditioned to be barbarians, not only through our intake system, but in our goddamn wars. These people go into villages and wipe them out. You know, they destroy them, they poison them to take their stuff. And that's about minerals and oil. I'm preaching to the choir, but if you're all, we all need to strive to be honest with ourselves. Are we doing the right thing? Are we putting our best foot forward? Hell fucking no. And we're killing the planet to boot. Right. So truly, tell me if I'm wrong, if, you know, whatever. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you how I feel. And ethically, every day that I do something that's hypocritical just diminishes me as a human being inside.
So actually, if I were even, I think more importantly than cryptocurrency, which I'm just saying you can't, I'm not like advocating saying, oh my God, cryptocurrency is the way.
I was just teasing you.
I'm just saying that you can't uninvent the thing. And you have all these corporations and you know, billionaires that are going to be moving some of their funds into cryptocurrency. But more importantly than cryptocurrency, and I think that we are going to be we're going to be forced into situations where we're going to be living together.
Yeah.
So my thing is we should be shortening the food supply chain, and we should be creating intentional communities before we get forced into them.
Well, yeah, we are
getting your own. Yeah, exactly.
We are going to get forced into them. And again, This is going to be the new normal. That's an ever-changing normal, I believe.
Yeah.
So again, it's all based on capitalism. So capitalism's going to have to die if we are to survive.
It is dying.
In my opinion, it is dying. And the dregs of that gold, that Midas gold, is going into the hands of the 1%. So
I think it's an important distinction to be made about the theory behind the things, right? In theory, all of these things should be able to self-regulate. But what happens is that you have greedy individuals who are capturing the things, and they're not being able to now inherently, I don't think capitalism is the right system, because I think it amplifies people who are greedy. But
we promote narcissists.
Yeah,
and-
that's exactly what it is. It is.
But in theory, capitalism is supposed to be self-regulating, and it's not, because we have essentially socialism for the rich.
Yeah.
Well, capitalism doesn't work without socialism to balance it out. We have to have democratic social programs in order to balance out and regulate capitalism. And until we figure that out, capitalism's going to crash and burn. So the rich either figure it out and start balancing it out, or we just totally crush them.
And if you let the rich do that, we still are their slaves. Period.
Exactly.
There's no way around it. Capitalism has always had the seeds of its own destruction sown within. So, anyway, we got a big show today. I want to go forward. Now, this is your friend and mine. No, not so much.
This is Kyle.
This is Kyle talking about little Billy Maher, and we got a lot to talk about here. And thank you guys for maintaining your cool on the topics we discuss in here, not beating each other up. Okay.
With the election coming up, the voter shamers are emerging from the shadows. Now, I mean, I really do find this incredible, because if you thought that left-wing third-party voters could sway this election, the last thing you should ever do is shit on them.
Right?
You should be catering to them. You should be working overtime to cater to them, to make sure that they'll vote for your candidate, because that's the path to victory, according to what you're saying.
We don't need your stinking vote.
So I don't understand. It's like they don't think this through, because these people are impulsive, and really they're just democratic in-group virtue signaling. That's what this is. I'm one of the good guys. I'm one of the good Democrats. That's what this is. And it's the lack of strategic thought that I find stunning as to how unserious these people are. So I'm talking about Bill Maher here, but there was another example. There's Aaron Rupar tweet that blew up, and there were others. The voter shamers have really started leaning into it as we get closer to the election. Now, Bill Maher, I want to show you his comments. He went after these people, but unfortunately HBO is being sort of like copyright trolls these days. And so I would be rolling the dice if I were to run the video for you. So I'm not going to do that, but instead I'll show you some of what he said. Mediaite says, Maher goes off on 2016 Hillary equivocators who voted third party or stayed home because, the lesser of two evils. Sorry, but you all have to eat it one more time, because oh, how I would love me some of that Hillary evil right now.
Eat it. You have to eat it.
Eat it one more time.
Love that Hillary evil.
Eat it one more time. And yes, to his point about copyright, one of these days we're not going to be able to run clips, guys. So just get ready. This is why we have so many people, and we're encouraging people in social media to come up with their own way of presentation. Make it entertaining, make it fun, because we're going to have to be our own content creators. Truly, that'll be nice, because we don't have to look at clips from some of these shows 24/7. But Bill Maher, I went off on Bill Maher. Somebody put up, well, like him or not, Bill Maher says some truth here. No, he didn't. What he does is he gets up and he basically gaslights and grifts through his whole thing, appealing to a certain segment of people, primarily the Trump-hating people, primarily pandering to the privileged Hollywood rich people, pandering to the suburbans who watch Real Time with Bill Maher. And I was one of those back in the, early 2000s. Everybody hated George Bush. But Jesus, this guy is not funny. And I would, with my meager gray matter, I'd try and take him on in a debate on just about anything. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, totally. It would be so easy to put this idiot down.
It would. In your own, never debate somebody in their own house. Never have any, you have to do it in a neutral or in a place where it's your favor, because they already have the star status. So if they say, okay, well, let's make it fair, let's make it neutral. No, come to my house with my people. Change my people's mind. You're already the goddamn star. So why don't you come out and flap your gums and try and change the minds of these people? They would get burned down. The Alyssa Milanos, the Rob Reiners, they would be decapitated in anything like that.
I can't leave my echo chamber. It's safe. It's warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't mind going to somebody else's echo chamber, at least, not in a Hollywood sense, but in a, a public meeting place, because I love to bring the air conditioner. So I know Chanda does too. So anyway, Bill Maher sucks. He blows.
I'm with you guys in the air conditioners.
Yeah. I'm even
cool.
rethinking about politically incorrect. I used to like him on politically incorrect. The guy's aim was to become what he is. He's a millionaire. I don't know what he's worth.
I never found that show funny. Occasionally when he'd go after somebody like Ann Coulter or, an easy target, okay, it was amusing, but I never have.
Yeah, and he does take the easy shots. It's always the flavor of the millennia or the year or the presidency. That's who he goes after. It's way too easy. And of course then we're talking about NBC Universal, MSNBS. You don't want to give them money. So
which is owned by the Republicans, so you're actually getting a Republican talking point.
Yep, it is. So anyway, moving right along. I think we got enough Billy off our shoe.
Okay, so this was Jill Stein's response to his carry your rape baby to full term and name it Jill Stein. She says, blaming the Green voters for Trump's win is bullshit. You want to claim Greens votes, but erase libertarians and 100 million who stayed at home, assuming Green votes belong to HRC. Just exemplifies the arrogance that's driven many to run from the DNC. You can't just bully people into voting for you.
Well, yeah.
I cannot wait to see Maine's ranked choice voting results.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be telling.
We're gonna talk about that. I got a fee clip talking about ranked.
Is that this one?
Voting. Yes, there's Fee.
There's Fee.
So check out the New Left. All these new channels I found her on doing interviews with. A lot of them I hadn't. It's my job to know every YouTube channel.
Is that her channel, or is that a conglomeration of groups or people or social media acolytes? What is this?
I don't know. This is the first time that this guy and his show has came across my radar. So you guys tell me what info you know on the New Left.
Okay, so this Tom Berry, is he the host?
Apparently, yes.
Okay, let's check it out.
People's Party, and do you think that has a chance at all of overcoming this duopoly structure that we have?
So I support what they're doing, like the attempt to create a new outlet for people. What I am hesitant of is the fact that we haven't addressed a couple of very, very clear things. Is we haven't addressed election integrity at all, and we haven't addressed the lack of ranked choice voting or a similar system to that, because the reason we already have third parties. We have a Green Party, we have a Peace and Freedom Party, or Party of Socialism and Liberation. We have you can be an independent, you can also be a libertarian. We have all these parties in existence. So we have to ask ourselves, why don't these parties ever get enough traction? Okay, yes, some of it is because of the duopoly and how they manipulate people, fear mongering them. You always have to vote for the lesser of evils. There's always somebody that deserves your vote because this guy's evil. Sure. But it's also the fact that people don't think third parties can't win. People think that third parties can't win because they can't, because they're not at a level playing field with the Republican and the Democratic Party. And both of them make sure that they don't ever get a level playing field. So it as much as we all want a lot of parties, what we need to have before we can effectively run somebody on those parties is to completely turn around our entire election system the way it's done. I believe we should do away with the electoral college. I believe ranked choice voting is the only way to really have a level playing field, because what ranked choice voting on a national level would do would make it fair, so the third parties could have a fair shake. Because what happens is, if my second choice is Joe Biden and my first choice is Gloria LaRiva or Nina Turner or whatever it is, I can then put these choices, and then we're gonna have a top two rather than having like no choice at all.
Yeah, Keith Hayes says parties are not in the Constitution. I agree. This is a rigged game. You have two parties working for the same master. And ranked choice voting, they're scared to death of ranked choice voting. They would never win another election again. So that's the problem.
I actually don't think that the Constitution is as egalitarian as a lot of people think it is.
Why?
Because it was made by a bunch of rich land-owning white guys.
Exactly. I mean, times have changed. It's like the Second Amendment or whatever, and
Right.
all this stuff.
Your militia, right?
yeah.
I just got to say, when Fee got asked this question, I was like, well, yeah, I support what the People's Party is, the movement for People's Party is about, but until we get some election integrity and some ranked choice voting, and then she just boom, 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 laid it out. I was just like, yay! I was cheering.
Yeah. No.
Well, that's my thing. I think that we are all being I think we're all being taken away from what we need to be doing. I think we're being led astray. Our energy is being put into things that don't need to be put into. I think people are making new things, and they don't need to be like. I've seen all this hard work being put into creating the movement for a People's Party and the United Left, and back in the day it was our revolution. There's just a lot of wheel spinning. A lot of
I've worked for all of them. Brand New Congress, Our Revolution, Democracy Springs. I mean, you name it, I've been there. And you're right. It's just co-ops your energy, and then they just fizzle out and go nowhere.
Well, yeah, and this, I used to tout. Good morning, Kelly Lane. Hey, Brent McKinney.
Yeah, Kelly, that was the New Left. I don't know. I just came across that show.
Yeah. I used to tout that all these groups, all these organizations need to hang their egos or whatever they got on the door hook next to when they go in the door. We need to work together instead of fighting against each other, because, it goes back, and Kelly, you came in at a fortuitous time. Julian Assange, this is a watershed moment for that. What is that? The mainstream press, that fourth rail or whatever the hell is supposed to be the watchdog of the government.
Yeah,
this is going to show us how co-opted by the uber wealthy it is. If they basically murder this guy, they murder him every day. And it's supposed to, whatever happened to freedom of the press? This isn't freedom and he was a goddamn publisher. So all this property,
the fourth estate.
All this has been manufactured against him.
Yep.
And it makes me sick to my stomach. And these nutless wonders out there, in the so-called journalists, they don't even, and Bill Maher. They're
slitting their own throats.
Yeah, Bill Maher, he likes to act like he's some sort of an authority on journal. He doesn't know jack shit. He's being paid to do that.
He was on Comedy Central, wasn't he, in HBO?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about a comedian who I would consider more of a journalist than any of them, it's probably Jimmy. I mean, Kyle's funny, Mike's funny, but they're more journalists than any of them. And sure,
now I think Graham Elwood is doing a good job too.
Graham is. I've tuned in a lot more to Graham lately. He's really starting to.
Graham strikes me as such a down to earth guy. He doesn't shtick it as well as Jimmy per se or some of the others, but he's more. He's so much. I get the impression he's more invested in one sense. Not that the others aren't, but it's like. Graham's like me in the sense of, what the hell's going on here? It's like Randy Credico. It's as plain as the nose on your face. We are being taken over by the wealthy. We have been. those who the puppet masters control this country, and we'll get into it more. I just, we need to get it. We got to keep running. We're running along already. Okay,
We got a long show.
We got a long show. This is Max Headroom, right? No, Max Kaiser. Sorry, Max Headroom. Okay. And what are we going to talk about here?
The fall of the European financial system. It might be propped up by us.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. We've been talking 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I started. Hey, they're going to eat shit, and it's going to be because of us.
Howdy. Hey, back in 2008 when had the global financial crisis and banks went under, Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, and some European banks were going to go under.
It was so sad.
Like meetings all the weekend long, and the policy was not to reform banks, but to give them a bigger credit line, 10, 20 times bigger. At the time, we said, you know what, in 10 to 12 years, same thing's going to happen, but a lot bigger. Well, here we are 12 years later, and Stacey.
Just as you said, at that time, it's all unraveling again, especially with European banks, because they are not the center of the empire. They are not Rome. They are outside it, so they must suffer. But before we get to that FinCEN story about the European banks, I want to say once again, we find toilet paper, loo roll, is a precious commodity as lockdowns begin. Apparently there are mad rush on toilet paper all over the Western world, and we're seeing shortages of toilet paper again.
Right, that was also something we predicted would happen.
Glad we got our priorities right.
So here is a headline from wolfstreet.com, and they say hit from all sides, European bank stocks swoon to 1988 low. Leaks about money laundering, a resurgent pandemic, China risks, exposure to Turkey's financial crisis, all in a negative interest rate environment that is toxic for banks. So the stocks 600 banks index, which covers major European banks, slumped 5.7% on Monday to close at 81.1, just a smidgen above the multi-decade low of 79 set in March. The last time before March that the index was below today's level was February of 1988 during the sell-off that followed Black Monday in October 1987.
Yeah, I was going to say Black Monday was in 88.
As low as 79.
Yep,
the index
I
has
remember that
collapsed
day.
by 85% since its peak in May 2007 after having quadrupled over the preceding 12 years. It's looking bad.
Right. I mean, 1988 and the connection to 1987, Black Monday, the crash of that year, it's very important. And because the solution then was to extend bank credit facilities. That's how Alan Greenspan, Ronald Reagan, and Robert Rubin, the plunge protection team, or the working group on finance, the president's working group on finance, decided that they would solve this problem by not punishing or reforming, but expanding the credit line of these banks. So they did exactly what they were doing, but on a bigger scale. And then we had, of course, another major move down in 1989. We had a bond crash, more or less, in 1993. We had the dot-com crash in 2000. We had the 2008 subprime crash. And each one of these crashes were caused by the exact same thing. Over-indebtedness, too much leverage, and no accountability, no enforcement of regulations by the SEC and FinCEN
that's
and
a
others.
surprise. And
each and every time, the policy from the central banks is to expand credit line and say, do it again, but do it bigger. And now in 2020, we have now a similar thing happening all over again. It's entirely predictable, entirely preventable. But as Alan Greenspan once said, that their job is not to do anything to proactively stop chaos. Their job is only to react to the chaos by printing more money.
That's from that Russian Sputnik channel, Franklin. That's RT. They're the Russian government. Damn it.
I am a Russian agent, and just like Fiorella, I am waiting on my big check, baby.
What?
I want the vodka. I want the vodka.
I want the vodka.
Can you dispute any of the facts that they were laid out in that thing? I don't think so. I don't think so. I again,
Max Kaiser.
Yeah,
Max Kaiser's been in the financial system since the 80s.
Yeah.
He's helped create some of the financial instruments that they do right now.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out there to Brent McKinney. Yeah, we were talking about who's got their shit together. Lee Camp is good too.
Lee is good.
2016, I was out on the front lines with Lee Camp. He gave incredible speeches for Bernie or Bust. Lee Camp is the real fucking deal. If you doubt that, just watch him.
Yeah, it is his real deal because I can see him anguishing under his
He
shtick
does
a lot of time.
anguish.
He anguishes a lot. I mean, he tries
Him
to.
and Eleanor are so cute together,
I
too.
know. I know. Yeah, and I wish I could. I mean, they've been ratcheting it down on YouTube. I've got to hunt them down. They're like, under layers and layers of algorithms and them and others. So what?
Yeah, and I'll always have a special place in my heart for Ron
Ron who?
Placone.
Ron Placone.
I
Oh,
know
yeah.
he's been like screwed into the floorboards with so many others. I mean, Jimmy's lucky. I think he knows it in the sense of that he still has the YouTube platform to bring in the super chat.
Right. He still has
So,
reach in YouTube
yeah, he's
because
still-
most of us on the progressive side don't.
And he said why? Because he has an advocate from YouTube. He has
Yeah.
direct connection to YouTube, and he puts on a great show, and he's consistent with his stuff. So, again, that's if you want to do it.
They're making money all the way
They're
around.
making money, and you can bet that that's costing Jimmy some money too. So,
Oh, hell yeah.
keep supporting Jimmy. Keep supporting Ron. Whatever you guys can do, throw $1.
Do it
here.
over on the Patreons,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Quit giving YouTube your money.
Yeah, I know. Do it to Patreon. They all take.
Patreon's taking 30%.
They're
too.
all
That's
taking
why-
Well, I
Yeah.
know, but at least they're not suppressing like YouTube is.
Yeah,
right,
they-
but that's why I'm saying Libra Pay.
Yeah, you're paying.
Libra
Yeah,
pay.
you're paying for 30% for bookkeeping when it should be 3%. Okay, what do we got here? Another one.
So this is an educational clip, and we were talking about, people, like Facebook, Twitter suppressing things, and this is part of how we fight back.
All right, let's fight back. Slingshot, slings and arrows. David and Goliath.
We're not Pelosi.
Centralized systems are the norm today. It just means a single company or entity owns a platform
I love
and the
his
users have to
English.
connect to that company's servers in order to use it. This means that fundamentally your account isn't yours at all, it's their property, and you are basically granted access in return for giving them your data. By contrast, decentralized systems are not owned by any single entity, and in general the data is both created and distributed by the users themselves. This distinction means that the users have full control over their own data and identity on such platforms. Not all of them have the same architecture, but I can go into that more in another video. To help illustrate this further, here's how decentralized systems stack up against some of the most common problems with our current centralized platforms. In centralized systems, the owners of the platforms can act as gatekeepers, arbitrarily granting or denying access. On the other hand, as long as the user follows the rules for a particular decentralized protocol, anyone anywhere can access those systems. Overzealous employees and moderators can censor and shadow ban users at will, and there's very little that can be done about it. In comparison, most decentralized systems are censorship resistant, and there's no authority that can censor users or delete their accounts. Many centralized services collect and sell your data in various ways. Almost all decentralized services use public key cryptography, so you have more control over who can and can't see your data. Most major centralized platforms today are closed source, so you don't know how they work and what they're doing behind the scenes. Algorithms could be warping what you see in order to manipulate you.
Sounds familiar.
Alternatively, nearly all decentralized projects are free and open source software, so anyone can view exactly how the protocols and software works. If you use a centralized service, they usually control the keys to your data and can access everything you do on their platforms. Your private messages are not private at all to them. One important feature of decentralized systems is public key cryptography. You alone own your keys, meaning only you and your recipients can view private messages. If a company gathers and centralizes large amounts of data on its users, it's more likely that a massive data breach could occur. Even if a single user's computer is compromised, the decentralized nature of these systems means the data breach is limited to only that user. If the company that runs the centralized service goes out of business or the servers go offline for whatever reason, everyone loses access. Alternatively, since the users often act as nodes, distributing the data amongst themselves, there's almost no way to shut decentralized systems down. As long as a handful of nodes exist in the world, the network...
That's the point. If Too Big to Fail has breached over into the internet, of course. Google, too big to fail. I mean, well, I don't. Facebook's doing a good job of failing these days, but you get the point, right? I mean, and they have the ability to just look at everything, data mine the shit out of you. They know your DNA, they know your sperm count, they know how many eggs you got, whatever. I mean, so we have given ourselves over to them in the virtual world. So we might as well be in the matrix. We might as well be part of that little battery because in essence, that's exactly what we are. We are a battery supplying these big international corporations their ability to cage us, to kettle us, to do all this other stuff. Great report, Franklin. I love it.
Yep.
Very nice. There was a question brought up in there about who owns it. Do you guys remember the 1970 something movie called Rollerball? I know this was James Caan and
Yes, I remember it, but
Yeah.
it was way before my time.
Yeah, well, the whole concept was the corporations owned everything. There's old John Huesman back there, good stone-faced guy. They owned everything. So they basically fed the populace this sport called rollerball. And it was a brutal sport, and they did it, all of roller skating and hockey and whatever else with a metal ball. There's Moon Pie down there. He didn't end up too well. But what I'm saying, by bringing this forward, the corporations own our ass. We have given them the keys to our lives virtually through a cell phone or through cars now, especially. I mean, Jesus, they're going to be able to do things like in that movie I, Robot. Pop culture is written by everyday life and what people perceive in everyday life. We look at it from when we watched the first Star Treks. We've got the tricorders now, in the smartphones. So I think rollerball was my point with this is ultimately in the end the people did rise up, and that's where they finished the movie. They
Thunderdome.
Yeah, it's Thunderdome once again. This is where we're at. You think I'm kidding? Look around. So we have got to be able to get away from all this stuff and take it away. I don't know how it's going to be. I'm addicted to the internet because it's a sole means of communication. But the presentation that Franklin just had, we need to do this open source. We got to get off of the Google, the YouTubes, and everything else. We got to go to open source platforms. Unfortunately, the money has control over everything now. We've got to figure out ways to get away from that and go on our own. It's going to take a little courage. It's going to take a little brain work. So when we're up to that, we can do it. What do we got next here? This is this. Oh, shit.
Where do you fall on the tiny political spectrum in America?
If they've got a "we're fucked" on that line, that would be me. So
Well, most of us know that little chart, right, where you fall on the left, right?
Yeah. If you're
Well, this kind of talks about it a little bit more.
Liberally, Okay, here we go. Second thought.
With
Again.
the 2020 presidential election fast approaching, I thought now would be a good time to take a look at the American political spectrum and discuss just how little disagreement there actually is within American politics. Let's start with a tool we're probably all familiar with, the political compass test. This simple test has you answer a series of questions, then, based on your responses, gives you a set of two values, one for the x-axis and one for the y-axis, which it uses to plot your overall political ideology on the chart.
Chromosomes.
For those unfamiliar with the compass, it's a roughly accurate way to help you understand where your opinions fit in the wide range of political thought. The x-axis represents economics, with an economy run by a cooperative collective agency on the far left, and a market left to the devices of competing corporations and individuals on the far right. The y-axis represents social stances, with the very top representing a complete obedience to authority, and the very bottom representing a maximization of personal freedom. A lot of people get hung up on the left-right portion and conflate one side or the other with authoritarianism. This is a mistake. Any point on the left-right spectrum is capable of authoritarianism. For example, you'll find leaders like Kim Jong-un on the left and Adolf Hitler on the right. There's a vocal subset of figures on the right who love to claim that Hitler was a leftist, but we'll get to that later in the video. To give you a few examples of notable figures from each quadrant, you'll find Mao, Stalin, Kim, and Mugabe in the authoritarian left quadrant, Hitler, Viktor Orban, Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump in the authoritarian right, Ayn Rand, Milton Friedman, Friedrich Hayek, and Gary Johnson in the libertarian right, and Gandhi, Thomas Paine, Bernie Sanders, and Nelson Mandela in the libertarian left. So, to reiterate, the x-axis is economic stances and the y-axis is social stances. As a small disclaimer, no simple political test is the most accurate determinant for actual human ideology. A two-axis chart is simply not nuanced enough to be 100% correct. But the political compass is a useful tool for understanding broad trends, and it's helpful for this type of analysis. Now, let's look at the compass for the 2020 presidential race. Interesting, right? Maybe not what you expected. There's a whole lot of yelling and name-calling between presidential candidates and their supporters and detractors, but when you take their voting records and plot them on a chart like this, it becomes apparent that there's really not that much separating most of the candidates.
No!
Even Bernie Sanders, whom many people paint as a communist, barely squeaked his way onto the left side of the spectrum.
Barely.
What's going on here? The reason a figure like Bernie only just passes the center line is that the political compass isn't just mapping American sensibilities, but the entirety of political thought. The American political spectrum stops right about here. Anything beyond Bernie's moderate social democratic platform is absolutely unthinkable in modern-day America. So why does our national political conversation stop so close to the center line? One of the biggest reasons is the legacy of the Cold War. The Red Scare was scary. In the days when schools had nuclear attack drills, anyone even remotely critical of the prevailing American political model was seen as a communist and sympathetic to the nation's greatest enemy. This led to years of crackdowns on left-leaning political groups, McCarthy's communist witch hunts, and a general circling of the wagons around the, quote, American way of life. When the Soviet Union fell and the Eastern Bloc countries got both democracy and a free market at the same time, the two axes of the political compass got tangled up. This bundling led many to falsely equate free market capitalism with democracy, and more left-wing politics with authoritarianism. If you need proof of just how ingrained this type of thinking has become in America, take a look at these pictures. The terminology is always the same. Blank equals communism. Apparently, keeping Baskin-Robbins closed so people don't die from a deadly virus is communism. Who would have guessed? When the incredibly popular Ronald Reagan came along and launched his campaign of deregulation, tax rate reductions, increased military spending, and union busting, he put the final nail in the coffin of American left politics.
Would you say that Reagan has the same supporters as Trump?
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not the person, it's the ideology.
Well, they hired Reagan, and you could probably make an argument for saying they hired Trump.
Yeah. Well, I think
exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
But I love this guy's reports. This is the third one I've brought in a couple of days now. Guy, he's very thorough. I love how he looks at this stuff.
Yeah, it's a no bullshit report. I like it, and he's quick. He delivers well. I mean, this is what
it's all consolidated, but he's trying to get out there. That's why I like it.
Yeah, and this is good. Once again, we appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat.
Hey, Chris Foster at the Rockfin.
Yeah, Chris. Hey, Chris is over at the Rockfin. What time is it, Chris Foster, over there where you're at?
Just to talk to Jilly about Tulsi and the left, he did caveat this whole thing with saying that this is a very small subset, and this isn't going to cover all the political spectrum.
Right.
No, it's not. And I think the key word in there was nuances. Because watching Bernie, and it's not one of those things where X marks the spot on that graph. That has nothing to do with it. So, somebody said, I think it was Keith Hayes, did he say, I off the deep end is my orientation? Yeah, I'm off the deep end.
Mine is too. I've done it. And I'm way I'm miles away from Bernie.
Yeah, but people they start with their pragmatic shit and all this other garbage.
Right.
No. It's called being a human being.
Project Veritas. What did Project Veritas drop?
Yeah. Here we got Rising this morning was quite interesting. Let's see what this one is. I got 3 Risings in here today. Let's see what we got.
So we've got a stunning new graph to show you. This from the Federal Reserve, tweeted out by friend of the show, Jeff Stein. Okay, just look at this. That blue line at the bottom there, that is the amount of wealth held by the poorest 50% of the country. Half the country, Sagar, has basically nothing in terms of national wealth. And when I look at this, what do I see? I see political power, right?
Yeah.
In our system, with the way that money has been considered speech and the way it has all been rigged and who politicians are responsive to, when you have half of the country with no wealth, and because of that, no political power. That explains more about our political system and the results we get than basically any other thing.
No, it's incredible, because what you can actually see is the exact distribution of what happened. And what I think is even more important is to dig into who holds the majority of the wealth, because it's even distorting to paint it as the bottom 50 hold nothing, because that would imply a message that the top 50 also hold some percentage. Yeah, it's some, not that much though. So Matt Brunig.
Yeah, this is a no duh, yeah. But what's striking to me is 80% own all of everything. You know, it's 80%. They own 80% of the wealthy people over, and you're going to give what? And not even the lower percentages, not even that 80 to 99%, that 19% there. They're still privileged wealth right there. It's the 1% who are under the boot of this global oligarch that has taken over the world. I mean, I just wanted to, that's a no duh moment, but you know, some people are going to be shocked by that. Oh, that's not how it works. So anyway, I
just want to say welcome to Joyce Milberg. Finally found you guys live. So glad you could join us live.
Yeah, hi Joyce. Welcome to our hot mess. Welcome. Snarky. Good morning, Snarky. Chris is in Finland. I think Chris is in Chris Foster's in the UK.
Chris is double dipping, yes.
Double dipping. Thank you so much. Again, thank you all for joining us today. And if you didn't see the whole thing and you want to, watch the whole show. This is the United Spot. I know you know, Chanda and I have.
I just thought I'd give a little preview of tonight.
Yeah, this is, we need to talk debate. Is that what that is tonight?
Hello, I'm Chris Wallace, and welcome to the 2020 presidential debate. Hey, Chris, can you tell Sleepy Joe to come out on stage? Hey, come on, man. I am on stage. No, you're not. You're hiding in your basement. Hey, come on, man. I'm standing right next to you. Joe, if you're standing next to me, shake my hand. Hey, enough of this malarkey. We gotta stay 6 feet apart, man. Come out of your basement, Joe. President Trump, what have you done for America? I've done more for America than any president in American history.
Oh, my
Joe,
God.
what have you done for America? Hey, Joe, can you answer that without a teleprompter? Well, from 1973 to 2016, I creeped out a lot of kids, roped a lot of women, sent jobs to China, made deals with the Ukraine, and made my family stinking rich. Tell us about Hunter, Joe. hey, Hunter's a good boy. He donates money to prostitutes. Hey, Joe, I think you better turn on your teleprompter. I haven't used a teleprompter in 180 years. President Trump, why didn't you honor Ruth Ginsburg's dying wish? Because I'm president of the United States. Because I love the Constitution. And it's my freaking job. Joe, would you have honored RBG's dying wish? Come on, man, of course I would. Dying wishes is in the Constitution. You know, it's like I had a job at a pool that was next to the sun, and there was water, and the toilets were next to the bathroom. Can somebody please drug test this guy? President Trump, what have you done in the fight against COVID-19? I've done everything humanly possible to fight this virus and protect every American family. Hey, Trump, you're doing it wrong. I know how to beat COVID. Oh, yeah? Tell me, Joe, how are you going to beat the virus? I ain't telling nobody nothing until I'm president. You're not going to tell America how to beat the virus? If you don't vote for Joe, then you ain't getting the cure. President Trump, what have you done to improve the economy? I'm doing everything I can to improve our economy.
Sure you are.
Including donating my paycheck to America. Meanwhile, the Democrats have destroyed this country so much that they brought the economy right back to where it was when Creepy Joe was vice president. Hey, in order to have a good economy, we need to make America China again. Give China all our jobs. President Trump, what have you done for the black community? I've done more for the black community than any president in American history. Hey, I picked a black woman to be my VP. Hey, if you don't vote for Joe, then you ain't black. Describe the integrity of this election. I'll put it to you this way. I deserve 8 more years after dealing with all the Democrats' crap. Joe, what are your thoughts on the integrity of this election? Joe? Joe? Where's the 3.5 million, Joe?
Probably not far off from what's actually going to happen tonight. And yeah, this is right-wing humor, but I got to say, at least they poked fun at Trump and him being the best president ever for every answer.
Well, it's just great because all of Trump's answers were like, I've done everything. I'm the best.
Which is
that's what it'll be.
Yeah, he always says that. It's always, I'm the greatest. Just, because of me and the FAA, we're going to have a virus, vaccine. But yeah, I mean, this sadly, this is probably how it's going to go tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be to Trump's advantage to go on script. Just watch this and then go into the debate, and he'll be ready to go.
Yep.
So I don't know. But in the debate, we're gonna have a debate party. What
time are we gonna launch?
Yeah, 5:30. 5:30. We're gonna have a debate party. I don't know. I guess we can stream it on Uphill. But if you want to join, just send me an email to roarmedialive@gmail.com and just say, hey, Oz, I'd like to be in the green room with you guys. So, God, United Spot. God, they just beat the hell out of the Democrats, and the Democrats just leave themselves open to it. Now, you got Nazi Barbie here, Chanda.
Nazi Barbie. Okay, so this is pretty found press conference. This is from yesterday afternoon.
I prefer the term white supremacist.
White supremacist Barbie. Okay, fine. Anyways, so she talks about Trump donating his paychecks like they just did on the United Spot. And then we go into some questions about pardoning Obama.
Ooh.
Pardoning Obama. You know, John F. Kennedy this is something that presidents do, is donate their checks. So it's not like it's a huge thing.
Yeah, but Trump wants you to think he's special because he's doing it.
Yeah, okay.
And he's broke. He needs the money, so it is a big deal.
Yeah, let's see if we can get this thing going. White supremacist
Finally, before getting started, I wanted to note that the president, as you all are well aware, donates his salary to various initiatives and parts across the federal government. In this quarter, he will be donating his salary to HHS, Health and Human Services, to develop new therapies for treating and preventing COVID-19 so that we can safely reopen.
Yeah, that would help.
Here's the check amounted to $100,000 that will go directly from President Trump and his paycheck that he does not take, but rather donates to various noble initiatives, including in honor of COVID this time and those who have passed and the studies underway. He'll be donating it to HHS. And with that, I will take questions from you all.
Yes. Does the president reference? Does the White House now support these churches that are defying governor's orders and opening up?
The president's been very clear. He wants churches to reopen. He wants them to do it safely. He wants them to do it in accordance with our guidance. It's laid out very detailed. It's posted now, so you can all take a look through it. And he wants to see all of those churches open in a safe fashion.
The governor does not allow that. Does the White House support churches defying these executive orders?
The president's been very clear. He wants to see churches reopen in accordance with his guidelines.
The answer is yes?
I just gave you an answer. The president would like churches to reopen and do it in accordance with the guidelines.
What specific provision of federal law allows the president to override a governor's
The president will strongly encourage every governor to allow their churches to reopen. And boy, it's interesting to be in a room that desperately wants to seem to see these churches and houses of worship stay closed.
The president.
I'd like to switch gears, asking about President Obama. We had we had an interesting article from Joel Pollak this morning, and I would like to ask you if the president has considered pardoning President Obama for illegally wiretapping on towers, illegally spying on U.S. citizens, and other potential crimes.
Pardon Obama.
Has he considered that? So I have not spoken to the president about that, but who I did speak to about President Obama and unmasking Michael Flynn were the men and women in this room. I haven't spoken to him on that specific point, have spoken to him about the matter generally, and I laid out a series of questions that any good journalist would want to answer about why people were unmasked, and all sorts of questions. And I just wanted to follow up with you guys on that. Did anyone take it upon themselves to pose any questions about Michael Flynn and unmasking the President Obama spokesperson? Oh, not a single journalist has posed that question. Okay. So I would like to lay out a series of questions, and perhaps if I write them out in a slide format, maybe we're visual learners and you guys will follow up with journalistic curiosity. So number one, why did the Obama administration use opposition research funded by a political organization and filled with foreign dirt to surveil members of the Trump campaign? Number two, why was Lieutenant General Michael Flynn unmasked? Not by the intel community entirely, but by Obama's chief of staff, by the former Vice President Joe Biden. by Susan Rice, by the Treasury Secretary. I mean, this is extraordinary. And, you know, if there were political appointees in the Trump administration, I can guarantee you I'd have questions in my inbox right now, but apparently Obama's spokesperson does not. Why was Flynn's identity leaked? In a criminal act. It is a criminal act to leak the identity of Michael Flynn to the press, but it happened. Where are the questions to Obama's spokesperson? Because my team would be running around this building should this have happened under the Trump administration.
Yeah, and she just came at the press yesterday. I gotta say, I admire it when she goes all, you know, catatonic on them.
Not that you admire her, but yeah, I mean, it's like...
No, I just like seeing the press being put in their fucking place.
Yeah.
Where they're valid questions.
The only press we have in this country right now are social media. I would rather have seen Jimmy and Fiorella and Mike and Lee Camp and everybody in that room. Just kick out all those has-been wannabes, those corporate tools, and let's have some real questions. And I guarantee you, you know, Nazi Barbie there, Kelly wouldn't stand a chance if she had to actually answer questions, you know, to the opposite.
Right, that were real questions and not
questions.
this political theater bullshit that she does every
And
day.
once again, remember, she gets all these questions submitted before the conference even happens.
Right.
They put them in a binder. They've got little Post-it notes on each question, so she has her answer ready to go. And thank God they do that, because I would hate sitting there for 4 hours waiting for her to respond to these questions. So
Right, because she didn't have her circle talked out yet.
No, and they all...
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to confuse it. I can't stand her for what she stands for, but these are valid questions. Should Trump look at pardoning Obama for breaking all these laws? You know, just yesterday we visited that story about how the Obamas were saying, oh, they got away with so much.
Yeah, they did.
And we didn't.
Yeah.
Bullshit. You guys got away with a lot more than most people realize.
Yeah, talk about throwing bowling balls when you live in a glass house. That's the epitome of it right there. What do we got here? What's this?
Oh, so these are some cute memes. You want to drop us down for a second?
Yeah, let's drop us down. Get down. Get down. We faded
Get out of
out.
here. So this is Melania after finding out that Donald's broke after, you know, taxes dropped. She was like, what? You'll have no money?
Yeah.
And then this is Trump running from Putin, who says, bitch, better have my money.
Oh, yeah. He was playing a piano for him yesterday, right? Yeah. You're such a funny person. I love that. Oh, here's one that I thought was hilarious. Now, remember, was it Broadcast News where he made that so profound thing about, this is the same guy that made a statement that was written for him to speak in a movie that was dead on about how we are not the greatest country in the world, that we've got tons of problems. So we'll just play this, and then I'll just do my 1-2 on that, and you guys can agree or disagree.
MSNBC's Nicole Wallace had actor Jeff Daniels on and had some important questions to ask him about our favorite topic, Russia. Let's take a listen.
A question about the miniseries. I mean, do you think that there is an explanation that is known to all of us yet for why all the lies about Russia?
It's not known to us yet, no. No, it's not known to us yet. But if it were a Hollywood script, they would kick it back because the bad guy's too obvious. I mean, look.
That's certainly...
I mean, it's just a badly written bad guy. I mean, it's so transparent. And the fact that I believe it was the New York Times today wrote an article about Putin reaching out to maybe call a truce on the cyberspace thing with, America,
right.
Though admitting nothing, right? That's Putin getting into the lifeboat on the Titanic. Okay? What are they talking about in Helsinki? What were, all this stuff? I mean, there's all of that. The tax returns that he won't show us. It's so obvious. And where is he getting the money? Where did he get all the money? And I mean, all roads, as Speaker Pelosi said, all roads lead to Putin. And, time's running out. This is a bad movie we're living through. That's what this is. If it weren't so life and death, it's a bad movie.
Oh my God. First of all, why are you interviewing Jeff Daniels about foreign policy and, taking seriously his views on this? And I love the well, we don't know yet. You all have been digging into this for years and years and years and years. We just he name-checked the tax returns. We have the tax returns. And
Yes,
look,
right here.
tax returns are not a complete picture of anyone's finances, but we heard for years that once we got the tax returns, then all the Russian connections would be exposed. They weren't. Please let it go.
It's horrible. I mean, if you want a real snapshot into boomer brain, there it is, right there. I mean, just, the
Did he
times.
say boomer brain?
Putin and Speaker Pelosi said it leads back to Putin. It's sad, honestly. And look, I mean, these people have power and influence, and it makes me sad. I like Jeff Daniels.
You know, I honestly...
all I got to say, I just got to say this. Yeah, I mean, honest, okay, go ahead. You guys go.
Well,
first.
this is us. We need to separate the things that we hear and turning people into messiahs or heroes, because Jeff Daniels, great actor, right? But he is not an economic advisor, an economic expert. Like he's not a diplomat. He's not a diplomatic expert. He's an actor.
He reads scripts.
Yeah, he reads scripts and he delivers well, contrary to some people. I mean, you guys, what people don't think their poop doesn't smell. This is another one of those cases where a privileged actor that reads scripts thinks they're the authority on what's going on. Russiagate has been debunked, disproven, everything else, but the mainstream media has been shoving Russiagate up our ass and down our throat for years. I've got good friends who buy it lock, stock, and barrel. Did you not learn anything from McCarthyism back in the day and how Obama said, hey, when he was running for office against John McCain, are you going back to the 1980s Cold War? I mean, they themselves, this was generated again by Podesta and David Brock and the rest of those clowns because Hillary Clinton got so embarrassed by getting beat by this clown game show host. They had to come up with something really big, and they're tripling down on it, and it's making me sick to my stomach. And Hollywood, for the most part, is behind them on this.
Absolutely. Hello, Marcus. Welcome.
Marcus. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen, or wie geht's? All this good stuff. What nice of you to join us, Marcus. I don't know, guys. I have no hope for Hollywood at all. I just, Jeff Daniels is busy working on scripts and trying to get a job. What does he do? Just watch MSNBS all day long? Is that what they do?
Well, yeah, he lives in a gated community somewhere, and the closest he gets to politics is Rachel Maddow on his 72-inch screen on the wall.
Well, why don't you reach out to him, Chanda? I will too, and say, hey, you want to debate the Russiagate theory? The Russiagate hoax, and just break it off in his eye. Every time I see this, I start following them on Twitter, not to give them more subs, but to just put it in their face.
Debunk their bullshit.
Their bullshit. Now, we don't have a wipey today, do we? We don't have a wipey.
No, I didn't bring a wipey.
Well, yeah.
We would have just gave it to Fee anyway.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, shit. She's like killing it. She's got like 6 of them now. So,
right.
What is this?
Oh, this is disgusting. This is a picture of MAGAs worshiping at the Washington Monument like it's the damn Wailing Wall.
You got to be kidding me. Are you serious?
No, I'm serious.
That's what that is.
Picture. Yes.
Okay.
That's the Washington Monument.
So we're gonna worship.
It's Trump's big freaking phallus, and they're all worshiping at the bottom of it.
That's his phallic symbol.
The base of his phallus.
Yeah.
But I thought big government was bad.
It is. It's hypocrisy that's good. That's what it is.
I just found that very disgusting. This report. Okay, so this is my friend over at Pockets of the Future. Anyways, we missed a very important endorsement for Joe Biden yesterday, so I just thought
The Rock.
You guys. The Rock.
The Rock. Okay, The Rock. Okay, Dwayne.
Greetings, brothers and
DJ.
sisters. This is The Rock, and these are his muscles. This is his shirt that 4 sizes too small. And he's got some important information for you.
Happy Sunday, everybody. We are approximately 5 weeks away from Election Day, arguably the most critical election our country has seen in decades.
Really? Yeah, that's not true at all. What are you talking about, bro? No matter what happens in the election, isn't going to change a thing. We're screwed. We're screwed. There's no money left, right? It really doesn't matter what happens in the election because the problems we have are irreversible.
Now, that said, I'm going to be pushing this political conversation just a little bit more. Now, look, I've got friends in all parties, but the one thing that we can always agree on is the conversation and the dialogue, and where that conversation lands is always the most critical part.
Exactly. Talking is the most important part. Talking and having a conversation is the most important part from a guy who's made his living off of being an action hero. Yeah. Let's talk more. We need more talking because we can solve our problems by talking. A conversation. There's nothing like a good conversation to avoid the apocalypse.
Now, this is something that I've certainly not done in the past, so I'm going to go big.
He's going big.
You guys know me. If I go big.
Exactly. When you go big.
And for the most evil invention in the world contest, I invented a child molesting robot. So, guys, I had the opportunity to sit down with Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris to talk about a number of important issues that we're facing as a country. I thought it was a great and extremely productive conversation that we had. And as a registered independent for years now with centrist ideologies.
Rock, we're not supposed to be able to see the cue cards. The cue cards are for you, Rock. You've got them reversed here.
That was my thought.
Your scripted message is for you. It's not for us. Like, we can hear what you're saying.
I do feel that Vice President Biden and Senator Harris are the best choice to lead our country, and I am endorsing them to become president.
And because Trump.
Because Trump. But so the reason I brought you guys this is a couple of different things. Oh my God, does The Rock look like he's on roids? I asked my husband and he was like, no, he just works out all day, every day. And I'm like, yeah, but he was never like that defined before. Okay, maybe he's just working out. Yeah. But if he's a registered independent, why the fuck is he calling himself a centrist?
Yeah, the hypocrisy has no bounds. This is another Hollywood endorsement. Fine. Go ahead. But to give this guy any more credence than Jeff Daniels or anybody else because of their status is just horseshit.
Exactly.
It's just horseshit. So, and again, he should quit wearing his kids' clothes on TV. It's embarrassing.
I know. Can't all that money and he can't find a shirt that'll actually fit him.
Yeah, get a shirt I'm seeing double vision. Double vision.
Double mint.
Franklin, you bleeped out there for a second.
Yeah, Franklin, you're all bleeped out, man.
You're all bleeped out. Bleepy. Let me see.
That's okay. You get double trouble.
Yeah, here, we'll get him back in. Here, let me put him back in.
I like the left Twix better than the right Twix.
Yeah, shit. Twix. I used to not like Twix, but now that I like them a little better. Okay, for our last big long story, it's not that long. The Washington Post. Now, I said earlier that I still think that New York Slimes is the worst, but
the WAPoo.
The WAPoo is the WAPoop. So we're going to talk about their endorsement and how they gushed over Donald Trump. No.
Said. The Washington Post editorial, on the other hand, failed on every count. They opened the editorial with a framing that you could really only categorize as a lie, telling their readers that while they may be willing to vote for almost anybody in order to get rid of Trump, luckily for them, they've been graced by the gods of the Democratic establishment with a near-perfect candidate. In fact, there is not one word of discernible criticism in the piece for the man who, let's remember, designed the system of mass incarceration, sold out the country to credit card companies, helped run cover for the Bush administration's Iraq War lies, and overall did as much as anyone over his long career to help architect the conditions which delivered us directly into Trump's horrid embrace. Instead, they say, quote, the Democratic nominee, former Vice President Joe Biden, is exceptionally well qualified by character and experience to meet the daunting challenges that the nation will face over the coming 4 years. The editorial is filled with the many paeans you'd expect to that singular elite obsession, civility. Wow. The late John McCain is quoted at length. Much ink is also spilled on that deep elite desire to be respected abroad again, including hand-wringing about NATO and Putin's aggression. This sort of predictable Biden Biden civility porn comprises the first portion of the editorial, but then they acknowledge these qualities, as much as they please and delight the Washington Post editorial board, are not actually sufficient. A president needs, quote, toughness, governing experience, and good judgment, they say. Does Mr. Biden have what it takes? Well, duh. Obviously comes back the enthusiastic reply. How do we know? Well, according to WAPO, it's not because of what he's done over 4 decades in Washington or during his 8 years as vice president. No. The thing that WAPO was most impressed by, I'm not kidding here
you go.
was how he destroyed that no-good class warrior Bernie Sanders once and for all. They write, quote, Mr. Biden didn't believe the pundits. He stuck to his game plan, took his fight to South Carolina, and won there and then almost everywhere on Super Tuesday. In defeating Senator Bernie Sanders, he showed that the party hadn't moved as far left as some were saying. When they do delve...
Yeah.
What the hell ever. The only thing I've ever seen the Democrats do and get off their ass to do is destroy progressives. That's the only reason they exist.
We are the biggest threat to their power out there. Populist, progressive, populism, people who want something for this country.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there, Chanda. I think they're there to make money.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, damn it,
that goes without
Franklin.
saying.
Come
Make money and
on.
destroy progressives.
Yeah. Just make money to slight progressives. That's what we need to do. So, again, let's finish this off. There's another salient point here, and then we're going to go out. Let's see.
Approach included a stimulus that was far too timid, loaded with way too many ineffective conservative ideas, and next to no help for the struggling homeowners, millions of whom lost everything to foreclosure. Holding the Obama economic response up as any sort of model is an absolute disgrace. But as if that wasn't bad enough, their section on Biden's stance on the issues made me lose my mind.
Made me lose my shit.
They start by hand-waving that Biden's competence and honor are really more important than any other issue stance, something that I believe the millions of unemployed Americans facing eviction, hunger, and despair might feel somewhat differently about. But then, in the middle of a pandemic in which millions have lost their employer-sponsored health insurance, the only mention that they make of healthcare is to trash single payer in the most bizarre way possible, by the way. In a section about climate change, they write that Biden would make climate change a priority, yet, resisting more strident voices on the left, he has declined to use the climate emergency to justify massive unrelated programs such as universal federal job guarantees or single-payer healthcare. First of all, no one is using climate change to justify single-payer healthcare. There's a pandemic. Universal healthcare is justified based on basic human rights. But you've got to just marvel at the thinking here. Policy doesn't matter as much as Biden's civility or whatever.
Civility.
But to the extent that it does matter to these norms and guardrails ghouls, they love that Biden's not going to give you a job and not going to give you health care. That is literally the case that they make here. We love Biden because norms plus John McCain plus he beat Bernie plus no health care. I really wonder if they realize how monstrously out of touch they are, how vapid and empty their content-free norm husks politics is, or how that approach has led us to exactly where we are today. Because when you provide the empty civility shell, when you prize the ability to play act presidential energy over everything else, you know who fills in the content of that empty shell? Everyone who already has power. Corporations, the wealthy, media, and political elites. And as our politics becomes filled with those priorities and utterly disconnected from the actual needs of the people, more and more Americans lose faith in any politician or any institution to actually represent their interests. They may even take a chance on some loony reality host who at least drives all the right people crazy. And then people like these snobbish fools will be so far gone that they'll actually go on and unironically make the case that their candidate is amazing explicitly because of the beauty of the nothing that they provide and how effectively they close the door on potential progress.
Make me want to poo.
I know. Long but articulate and to the point. I love all the big words she uses. I understand half of them. Yeah, I mean, this is why Biden may just lose. I mean, he's bringing nothing but bullshit, and they're crapping and they're crapping in the eye of everybody out there who did want to make some hope and change actually happen in the guises of what we used to think was Bernie Sanders. I mean, Jesus. And then Bernie signed his soul to the devil, and now he's preaching the gospel of that. I think it's going to, it's just because Trump. And I don't think because Trump is going to put Biden over the top. It could. I don't know.
No, I don't. I think that Trump's going to get a landslide. I mean, ask me tonight after the debates what I think, because the debates might change a little bit of my opinion. But I think Trump is just going to stomp the shit out of Biden because the left has done nothing but placate, crush, destroy their own fucking base and then tell us to fall in line and vote for them.
Yeah, you don't crap on the same people that you need their votes from. What the hell are they thinking? They're dumber than shit. I don't know. What is this?
Oh, so this is a follow-up story to my report I brought on Saturday night, which was about Joel Guy Jr., the guy who chopped up his parents and put his mother's head in a pot. Well, that's the actual pot. But opening statements started yesterday in this case. And we got to go through the house with video. So we got to see, kind of what he was up to and what he did. And the opening statements on this were amazing. So I just bringing you guys the information I see. I find this interesting. So I'm going to keep you updated on this one.
So run this video. We're not going to see a head, are we?
The head's in there.
Oh, yuck.
It's evident what happened to these folks. It's evident that they were stabbed multiple times. It's evident that their bodies were, cut up. But that evidence is not damning against any one person, right? They have to show who did it.
Prosecutors in Knoxville, Tennessee say that person is the couple's own son,
Oh,
Joel Guy
Igor.
Jr. In addition to the body parts, investigators said they found containers of chemicals in the house and receipts for the purchase of those chemicals. Authorities said they traced one of those receipts to a Knoxville Walmart,
Oh, of
where
course.
Guy was allegedly caught on camera 2 days before the bodies were found.
They got a laptop and it has some history on it where he was searching for chemicals that could dissolve bones. That's very incriminating.
The 32-year-old faces 7 counts, including first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse.
Abuse of a corpse.
So,
just to catch you guys up to speed, Thanksgiving 2016, I'm thinking probably disgruntled Hillary supporter, went home. He's 32 years old. He's going to school in Baton Rouge. His parents have been paying his tuition for over 10 years. They tell him that they're cutting him off and that it's time for him to go out and get a job. And instead, he decides to Breaking Bad their asses, kill them, and put them in vats of acid because, hey, it worked on TV, right? So I love the opening statements on this. It was a diabolical stew of human remains.
Jesus.
Is how the prosecutor led with this. So yeah, this kid's done cooked. They got a shit ton of evidence on him. I don't know if they have the death penalty in Tennessee, but it's an interesting case.
I thought this was a Hollywood horror movie when you first brought this.
Right?
I mean, the guy is cast so well, it's just.
I know he is just creepy. I'm watching him, because I watched a good 8 hours of it. I speed through it, but his mannerisms, him interacting in the court yesterday. Yeah, this kid is creepy.
Oh, yuck. What a story.
But he's got the hot pockets right next to mom's head, Gotta have the hot pockets.
Those are hot pockets?
That's where I put my hot pockets.
What is it?
Right next to mom's boiling head.
Is that a medication sitting next to those hot pockets? Was he hot?
Yeah, he picked up all kinds of stuff.
Shit,
he had bags and bags of groceries just dropped on the ground. He turned the heat up to almost 100 degrees in the house, thinking it would help dissolve their stuff. I don't know.
I bet the aroma was just
those
breathtaking.
poor cops that had to go in
God,
there.
Dude, Jesus. So
Dahmer too. And that's why I bring it to you guys. I think that, mainstream media doesn't report on this type of stuff anymore. 70s, 80s, even 90s, this would have been all over all of our newses. But nowadays you don't even hear about it.
God, if I were him, I would have just put in a patio and called it good. I just, oh my God. God, he was hardballing hot pockets on top of that. So,
yeah.
All right, what do we got coming up today? We got the. I don't even know if I want to call it a debate. What can't we call it something else, like a shit show or something?
Shit show. Let's call it the shit show.
Shit show. Donald Trump and friends, or an evening with Donald and Joe, or something like that. I don't know.
Donnie and Joe Rumble.
Donnie and Joe. Thank you.
Yeah. Before we leave, I just want to make sure everybody is like sharing and subscribing where they can and checking us out on Rockfin. Also,
Almost.
Make sure. Get your password managers, get your 2-factor authenticators ready. Think about decentralizing and how to get your life more private and owning your own data.
Yeah, do that.
Your PSA for the day from
PSA.
us at the dive.
Chris Foster, Irish stew, in the name of the law. Jesus Christ.
Irish stew.
You are twisted there, Chris Foster.
Do you see we have Amos with us?
Yeah, hey, progressive update, man. People can't afford groceries anymore, and it's not going to get any better. And I'm going to double down here. I'm not going to miss the meat. I'm really not. We have to get into a permaculture situation. I'm not going to.
Actually, Jilly, he's not going with an insanity defense, which is the most shocking part of that case.
Was he going to blame it on his doctor?
He just said he didn't do it, but
he
got a lot of evidence.
Well, yeah, he didn't do it. Is he going all Sybil on us? He's got a different personality, or what?
I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching and keep you guys updated. And I'm watching the Colt mom case too, the Lori Daybell and Chad Daybell case out of Idaho with the missing kids that were found buried in their backyard.
God, how do you do all this? You follow all this stuff. Well, you don't watch television, that's for sure. So.
I don't watch TV, so that's how I have time for it.
And during the times of pandemic, we've got it going. So anyway, we got the debate party tonight, and then right after that, we're going to go into what, Chanda?
An accidental activist with Mariana Everson, which I'm so excited about. We already decided we're going to talk some smack about the debates tonight.
Oh, good. Talk about this. Talk smack. The debate she had with the Democratic primary challenger was, I think she did well there. She's kicked ass in all the debates she's gone to. Straight shooting. Vote for the nurse, damn it. Vote for the nurse. And we've got the dive again tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Wednesday?
Women's Wednesday, and we've had a lot of women. Yesterday, we had Chris from Natural Progressive getting a hold of me like, hey, where's the show link? Why aren't we on? She was going to come on with us, but of course there was no show. We had Lynn reach out to me, so I'm hoping we can get all these ladies in tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get the ladies in. Let's give Franklin and I a day off here.
Give you guys a day off.
Yeah. I like the ladies too. So yeah, permaculture, absolutely cheese. We've got that, and then tomorrow night, I believe we have the progressive update with Amos, and that's going to be at 5:30 Pacific, I believe. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. That's his debut show, so give us a look. And then we've got something with Lynn Idahosa on Thursday evening, I believe.
Thursday Thoughts. So I'm looking forward to that. I got to connect up with Lynn on that. And then Friday, we're going to go out with the Friday Dive. And then it's No Joke on Saturday with Marcus. And then Beauty and the Boomer. We don't know what we're going to do Saturday night. So
nope, I haven't even thought that far ahead yet.
And again, apologies to the time changes and things. Yesterday was kind of a one-off because I wanted to go to the dentist, and I wanted to have a show because I had to go to the dentist. Who wants to? Who wants to give away thousands of dollars that you don't have? But yeah, I'll try and get the times on this. YouTube's been kind of glitchy lately, so I will plead it. So sorry about that, Al Walski. He missed the show yesterday. We love
Al.
I love you having it, Barbara.
It was a rough show, anyways. Our sound was very bad, but we know what the problem was.
Yeah, and if anybody out there is doing social media, always use earbuds. Do not use computer speaker sound because it causes a cascading feedback when you're doing a stream, even on OBS and some of the other ones. If it's up too loud, it's going to cause a clipping sound.
Have the earbuds.
So that's one thing you can work on. So anyway, thank you, Franklin. Thank you, Chanda. Great day.
Yeah, this song goes out to Cheeseman. I saw you on the roof yesterday cleaning the gutters. So the working man.
Working man. This goes to the cheese man. Here we go.
Yes, and I can go to working all the time. Seems to me I can live my life a lot better than I think I am. I guess that's why they call me. They call me the working man. They call me the working man. I guess that's what I am. I come home at 5 o'clock and I take myself out and I scold beer. Always seem to be wondering why there's nothing going down here. Seems to me I can live my life a lot better than I think I am. Yes, that's why they call me. Call me the working man. They call me the working man. I guess that's what I am. And I'm go to work at 9. I got no time for living, yes, cause I'm working all the time. Seems to me I can live my life a lot better than I think I am. I guess that's why they call me. They call me the working man. They call me